Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And good day everyone, especially to our instructor or teacher, Sir Gabriel U. Ulama. First and foremost, I just want to introduce myself. My name is Badsigan Ali. I'm from BSED English 1B. And this video is the continuation of Module 4 entitled The Six Principles of Second Development. So the first, second, and third principles was already discussed by our classmate, Miss Sagera A. Kusain. And at this time, we will continue it, and we will discuss the fourth, fifth, and sixth principles. But before that, let's take a look the definition of principles. Okay, so guys, our topic for today is all about the six principles of second language development. So let's define first what is principles. Principles is a fundamental truth or proposition that serve as the foundation for a system of belief or behavior or for chain of reasoning. It is somehow a rules that has to be followed, like for instance, the laws that observes in our nature. Okay, so let's proceed on the principle number 4, which is children learn words best in meaningful context. So cognitive psychology has shown that people learn best when information is presented in context rather than as a set of isolated facts. So when we say cognitive psychology, that is the science of how we think, or it's concerned with our inner mental process such as attention, perception, memory, action planning, and language. Okay, so this means that children learn in the best way when information, thoughts, or idea is presented or manifest in a context. So, mas natututo ang isang bata pag naging malinaw sa kanila ang isang bagay. Pag naintindihan nila ang isang bagay. So like for example, we have an example here. Like for instance, words presented in a grocery list are better remembered than the same list of words presented without context. So the information, words, or language that has manifest in a store or a grocery list are better remembered than the same list of words presented without context. This means that the aptitude of context is crucial in terms of possessing or gaining knowledge. Okay, so one of the meaningful contexts in which children learn word is thematic play. When we say thematic play, it is to encourage children to put themselves in someone else's shoes. That is, this role playing allows them to develop an understand of symbols. Okay, so some studies using thematic play as a backdrop for language and literacy development repeatedly find that meaningful connection between words develop in conversation and support children's learning of novel words. So we have here an example. For instance, preschoolers who learn, when you say preschoolers, anong mga batang bago pa lamang nag-aaral, just like the kinder or in a primary school. So preschoolers who learn new words in 20 minutes book reading session that were followed by 10 minutes play session made significant gains in receptive and expressive vocabulary compared to children who receive 30 minutes of explicit instruction about novel words in the context of book reading. Okay, so encouraging children to play with objects that come from the same superordinate category is a form of guide play. That is a form of guide play in which adults scaffold children's active exploration in service of a learning goal. Okay, so since parents and teachers provide input that makes language learning possible, it is crucial or it is very important to understand guided play environment that are designed to stimulate children's curiosity and acquisition of language. Okay, so number 5 principles is that children need to hear diverse examples of words and language structures. So the question here is that why they need to hear diverse examples of words and language structures, 'di ba? So they need to hear different examples of words because sometimes one words consists of different meanings due to adding prefix, suffix on the root words. So dapat kailangan talagang marinig ng or kailangan or dapat talaga matutunan ng mga bata o marinig sa kanilang parents or on their teachers and their teachers the different examples or halimbawa ng isang salita or the structure or the language structures. When we say language structures, it is all about the struktura ng isang lingwahe or the arrangement or the organize of the language. So as we review, we have 5 major components of English structures, and that is first phonemes or the phonology, morphology or for morphemes, lexemes, syntax, and context. Okay, so these 5 major component of English structures work together to create meaningful communication among individuals. I think napag-aralan na natin yung 5 components of English structures during our second semesters. But we will discuss here the it quickly the 5 component of English structures. So the first is phonemes or phonology. So when we say phonemes or phonology, it is the study on how language or dialect systematic organize their sounds. So sa phonology, diyan pinag-aaralan kung ano yung tono ng isang words or salita. It is a sounds or group of different sounds perceived to have the same function by speakers of a language. Sa morphology naman, it is the study of words and their parts. Dito naman pinag-aaralan yung words and different part of that words, just like the adding prefix, suffix, and on the best word. And lexemes. Lexemes means a language most unit of meaning or the most basic form of words. Sa lexemes naman, diyan pinag-aaralan yung pinaka-basic unit ng or the meaning of the words or the most basic form of words. Like for instance, work, 'di ba? Yung work is the most basic form of words, word, and also deforestation and others. Sa syntax, pinag-aaralan naman sa syntax in simple meaning or definition of syntax is the arrangement of words in a sentence. Arrangement of word in a sentence, for instance, subject plus verb plus direct object. For instance, Badsigan let the ball. And the Badsigan hit the ball. The last one is the context. It refers to information that helps readers accurate and interpret the meaningful of text, just like the background information, details about the circumstance or time frame in which work take place. Okay, so that's it. Okay, so a growing body of research emphasize the importance of diversity and linguistic input to foster rich language outcomes. Okay, according to Fiagans, Vernon Figgins, when fathers use diverse vocabulary in interaction with their children at 6 months of age, their children have more advanced communication skills at 15 and 36 months. Okay, so multiple examples of reference must be presented for each word in different contexts. So hearing different examples helps children develop abstract meanings of words, which encourage children to recognize how words link to categorize. For instance, seeing different breeds of dogs and hearing the label dog helps children extract the essential components of the category and form an adult-like representation of dogs with a deeper semantic understanding of the concept. Okay, so next is the last principle, which is vocabulary and grammatical development are reciprocal process. So from the word reciprocal, when you say reciprocal, which means the action that involve two people or groups who do the same thing to each other or agree to help each other in similar way. Okay, so this means that children or the learner should build up their grammar as well as vocabulary in order for them to be fluent in the second language, which is the English language. And if one of these two, well, the deficit, what I mean here is the vocabulary and grammar. If one of these two, well, deficit, it's possible na you cannot construct or you cannot form a sentence well. Okay, so the final principle is based on the notion. When we say notion, yan po yung individual's conception or impression of something known. So, the final principles is based on the notion that children, ang bata daw is really learn new words. Bihira lang daw nila malaman ng isang salita together with its meaning in isolation. Kapag hindi ito nabigyan ng emphasis or hindi nila maintindihan ng mabuti yung sinasalita ng isang guro or the parents. So the idea that children use the syntactic structures, when we say syntactic structures, it is a system of the clause and phrase, whereas English sentence indicates that has a rule to short or expand each sentence. So the idea that children use the syntactic structure of a sentence to learn new word is a mechanism known as syntactic bootstrapping. Syntactic bootstrapping is the theory. That is the theory and developmental psycholinguistic and language acquisition, which proposes that children learn word meaning by recognizing syntactic categories and the structure of their language. Okay, so we have here an example. Sally blocked John suggests a different meaning for black than the sentence Sally has a block. So the former suggested yung unang sentence na black, that is black is a transitive verb, whereas yung nasa huli na sentence, it implies that black must be a noun. Okay, so in these examples, malalaman natin or nalaman natin na yung one words can make a different meaning. It depends upon on how we use it on a sentence. Just like Sally black John. So, yung black John is a transitive verb. On the other hand, Sally has a black hair is a noun. Okay, so there is a question here. What are some ways in which the acquisition of grammar and vocabulary in English as a second language children can be facilitated? So, one way to foster this reciprocal development may be to introduce new words in various syntactic frames. Okay, so for instance, listen and do task appear to be effective in promoting beginner English as a second language, children's vocabulary and grammar knowledge. And listen and do task, yung mga learners need to first listen to commands and then perform action to show that they have understood the commands. Okay, so through these examples, listen and do task is one of the effective way in building up the grammar and vocabulary of children in terms of English as a second language. Okay, so the teachers or the parents will know kung talaga bang naintindihan ng bata yung instruction through doing it. And if the children do the task or the instruction well, which means they fully understand the instructions given by the teachers or the parents. Okay, so that's all. Thank you for watching. I'm hoping na sana naintindihan natin yung 6 principles of second language development. And if you have some question, you can simply chat me on messengers. And don't forget to click the subscribe button as well as the ring bell so that you may not lose from on the next video. Thank you and wassalam.